We're back for the second half of this episode, which is 7, I believe, if I'm correct. Friends.
Yes.
Moments later, as your forces charge bodily down the church stairs, the promised reinforcements arrive as all across the planet, Imperial Guard and Enforcer units begin responding to this sudden attack. You get a call shortly after from Inquisitor Calidus Cinevis. You can see on his Vox communication that his right arm is just covered in goo. You're not sure what it is. It's probably not blood. He's flicking.
We don't want to know.
Flicking off his force sword, and then just goes, Lycus.
Sir?
I am noticing a paucity of signals from the Sororitas.
Which?
Have you allowed the faithful to shield the rest of your army?
I've been left with one priest.
It is my understanding that you personally stood alone in front of the rest of the army, gesturing for a pack of Terminators to come at you.
I was ensuring that they don't make it to the steps.
By standing on the steps and gesturing towards them.
Yes.
I hope you understand that when one is training Inquisitorial acolytes to become interrogators, to become inquisitors, there is some expectation of self-preservation. Don't get me wrong, if you wish to sacrifice yourself in the name of the Emperor, I would never stand between any Imperial citizen and his duty. But there is a greater expectation now as a member of the Inquisition, that you lead.
Understood. I'll be more thoughtful at self-preservation.
You understand that the Sororitas are not easily replaced.
I do.
And that they represent the bulk of my personal forces on the planet. Their loss constitutes immense risk.
I understand.
I heartily congratulate you on your victory. You have done exactly what was expected of you, and more.
Thank you.
Return to the Inquisitorial fortress at once. I will arrive there shortly after, and we will have a discussion as to what to do with your unit now that its usefulness is somewhat deplenished.
We'll be there forthwith.
He cuts the comms.
Acolyte,
Yes.
I'm still trying to understand your customs. Did the Inquisitor just chastise you for winning that battle?
I recall someone said, a hearty congratulations, sir.
He congratulated us for winning the battle, but he chastised me for risking my life.
And for losing your troops.
Yes, I believe his chastisement was more than likely for the inefficiency of how you commanded your forces during the battle. He believes it was a logistical nightmare, so to speak.
Do you have the option to ask him how he would have done it?
I don't know much about how the Inquisitor feels, but I assume asking him how he would have done it will result in the Acolyte gear being promptly and swiftly smacked across his face.
No, worse, torture. Horrible, horrible torture.
Even better. This is like the most humor you've ever heard come out of Kalrak. It's kind of weird.
We still have the tank, so there's that.
That we do.
Is that your only surviving force?
No,
No, he had some.
I still have
the squad that retreated or pulled back.
Okay, I didn't see that.
I still have the
Person.
squad that was still moving up, and I still have the Tempestus Prime.
Yeah,
don't-
he's getting a promotion now.
I don't think I lost anybody, mostly because most of my squad are scouts who sit at the back.
I have the unnamed Tempestus Prime that's still alive.
We still have the engines here too,
Yeah, I brought him along.
because I forgot about him because of my camera angle for most of the fight, so I didn't see him. I just forgot he was there.
It's fine. I knew he was there. I would have mentioned if he was actually needed.
You could have
Well-
moved him if you wanted. That's fun.
While the four of you are taking a moment to breathe and maybe reload your weapons and, you know,
Definitely
just
reload.
generally cool down after the battle, Duet, your death cult assassin, begins stalking over to you, Lycus. Both of her blades are out, and, you know, it's hard to read the expression on someone whose face is completely covered in black.
Ah, yes. Good to see you're here. Thank you.
Acolyte,
Okay.
why have you not put me to use during this battle?
Mainly because you would have been shot way before you had a chance to even engage.
Instead, you used me as a hothouse flower, sitting in the back, accomplishing nothing.
Would you have rather charged across an open battlefield and faced a full assault of enemy fire and been shredded immediately?
I would
Doesn't
do
seem like a
so
very
in an
smart tactical
instant
choice.
for the Emperor.
Perhaps the Acolyte has other uses for your particular set of skills. Have you considered this?
If my uses involve standing around for several minutes, then I suppose that I will continue to serve for some time.
It was one battle, but we've not won the war. You'll get your moment.
I have to be back on shift soon.
Proceed.
Didn't she kill her manager?
Yes, she did, but that was just so no one would ask questions.
Nobody liked that guy anyway. Everybody was like, we're just going to turn, it's like, we're just going to look the other way because, guy was a dick.
There have been 0 days since the last incident.
Days since last incident. I like to imagine the sign itself is covered in blood spatter.
I feel like it'd be tracked in hours rather than days.
No,
in the
yeah, probably
Imperium.
knowing an Imperium manufacturer, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
It's been 2 hours since the last accident.
she goes and walks around a corner and disappears from sight.
I do not trust that one.
God, you'd be wise to not trust a ninja.
I never thought I would see the day when I would trust a Xenos more than I would trust another member of our species, but I feel that day has come and gone.
I mean, the strategy was sound. There was the risk that the forces of the great enemy would teleport themselves or summon demons onto the dais of the church, and she was to stay behind and ensure that if they did arrive, that they were met with blades. The fact they didn't, the questions their tactics, not ours.
I concur with Eshairr. Keeping our rear flank secured was just as important as weathering the fire from the frontal attack.
Indeed, plus she has other uses more off the battlefield than on. One death cult assassin won't do much against.
Wow, Sid. Wow. Wow.
I even kept my fellow scout brothers back. Yes. More than mortal we are, but we also not stupid. It's hard to become a full battle brother when you're shredded to pieces by twin-linked heavy bolters.
There could have been 1,000 different ways that we've done that battle, and each result could be just about the same.
Well, from my previous battles, our forces always take a heavy beating. This is nothing new in the Imperium.
Indeed.
And considering they brought Terminators on the field, I believe that we performed adequately for the forces that we had to deploy.
Yes.
If you wish to hear my tactical perspective.
It was quite quite troublesome to see that being so close to the steps.
And although the Inquisitor chastised you for your standing that close to the steps near to an entire squad of Terminators, I believe that they perceived you as weak and decided to charge towards you. And that gave us the opportunity to draw them in close to a killing field.
Indeed.
Personally, I thought you were being stupid.
What, you're standing on top of a tall building all by yourself?
Yes.
To be fair, he was standing behind sandbags instead of in the open. But, I mean, yes, just be careful with your choice of foe that you insult with your middle finger in the future.
Noted. At least our forces weren't terribly destroyed for the most part.
Well,
Only
Fine.
half. Only half.
Only
No,
half.
more than half,
Fine,
actually.
Lawrence.
Because it was mostly just the Astartes and the tank left, right? Everybody else is like one guy.
James and I had one guy left. Sid had a squad,
Squad and the tank.
of Scion tanks.
and
So
a Tempestus Prime.
Yeah, I had everybody, but that's only because the scouts have like a 36-inch range and stood at the back on flank guard for most of the fight.
I'd say it's about half.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Could have been worse.
Certainly could have been worse.
Somehow the priest made it through all of it. I have no idea how.
I believe his Rosarius. I believe I saw the power field activate a couple of times, so his energy field definitely saved his life.
And that, kids, is the power of prayer.
Praise the Omnissiah.
Staring at.
The Omnissiah showed us great favor on this day. I believe we're to return to the fortress.
Yes, we must return to the Inquisitor to get praised and maybe chastised.
More sandwiches.
You will get praised, you'll get chastised, I'm sure.
Probably both.
Can't have one without the other.
Did anyone see if the traitor was killed on the battlefield or whether he escaped?
He escaped. Talrond aspects disappeared during the fray.
Oh, don't worry. Let's just pass a document to the Assassinorum. They'll find that son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's a task for your death cultist right there. Go find that fucker.
Yeah.
Anyway,
She does appear to want something to do.
so we're back to the fortress, or do we have other business here?
Back to the Batcave.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it would literally just be like a spinning inquisitorial symbol.
I would love if somebody actually made you up a thing for that, and we just put some stupid sound effect, behind the thing.
Amazing.
That would be fucking hilarious.
It would be a very good
I feel like the
transition.
The travel montage on 40K is more sort of like the red line going across the map, Indiana Jones style. Although when they go through the warp, it's a squiggly line.
I just assume they disappear when they go through the war.
Where's Zonalar when we need him to come up with some stupid shit? That would be funny. All right. Well, I got nothing else to say, so if we're gonna go back, then we go back, right?
Yep, we need to go back, get praised and or chastised, maybe both.
You arrive outside the Inquisitor's office in his hidden fortress beneath the planetary governor's palace. Several minutes later, the Inquisitor arrives, still covered in that goop, reeking of unearthly powers. Almost certainly there was warp fuckery involved in whatever he was doing. As he gestures, the door to his office opens in front of him, and he says, "Join me."
Doesn't he use a power or a force sword?
He does.
Okay, so he's also part of the warp fucker involved.
Yeah. He's a psyker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of them are. It's just
Antipho like pops the last bit of sandwich in his mouth and then
I think all of us are probably still covered in stuff. Like my entire like right pauldron still probably covered in like blast residue from rockets firing out of or missiles firing out of the tube.
Antifo's remarkably clean.
I mean, Lycus is probably a bloody mess.
I smell like gunpowder, I'm sure. It's a good smell. I like it.
Do any of the four of you have anything to report
We slayed a Chaos Lord of some sort in that fight, belonging to the traitorous Third Legion.
And the sorcerer. The sorcerer appeared to be the true leader of their group.
I concur.
They were supported by the treacherous Jewel Abbot, Taron Aspects.
Yes.
He escaped capture at the end of the battle.
Perhaps something to pass on to the more unorthodox Imperial forces. They'll find him.
Because we're so orthodox.
I mean, considering 99% of the Imperial strategy is throw dudes at it, the SS norm is pretty unorthodox.
My plans to deal with Taron aspects are already in place.
As you wish.
And all of you can ensure the loyalty of all other members of this squad. No one displayed any corrupt behavior during the battle.
Not that I saw.
I saw no corruption and no cowardice.
It is incredibly odd, but I vouch for both the humans and the Eldar. Everyone displayed competent tactical awareness.
Acolyte, do you have anything to say for your battle group?
Oh, they acted with most tactical superiority. There's no strategery, yes. No cowardice. No sort of corruption.
Very well. Your army, for which this group has specifically been gathered, has in essence been shattered. With the exception of the Space Marine unit, which remains mostly intact. Several of your constituent units are being reassigned and bolstered, and as such, this particular Inquisitorial team is going to be disbanded for several months. I have, however, arranged for several rewards for each of you. Eldar, I understand that you were reluctant to travel to the nearby Forge World in order to speak with a Biologus Magos.
It wasn't the conversation I was reluctant for.
I have summoned him here. He will arrive in 3 days. He is ever so willing to speak with you. I understand he's brought several of your people with him.
Very well.
Astartes.
Lord Inquisitor.
My understanding, speaking with your sergeant, is that you are not yet ready to advance towards either a assault marine package or a tech marine position. Indeed, that you have very little training in regards to the Omnisaya.
I have yet to master the litanies required on the path of the Iron Father. This is true.
We have no capability to send you to Mars. But the Imperium must continue to function even without that particular means of travel. Therefore, you are being detached from your unit. You will be returning on the shuttle that is bringing Magos Philose. You will be spending several months among tech priests. I hope that you enjoy yourself during your hands-on education.
Enjoyment is irrelevant. Only continued service. Only in death does duty end.
And here I thought I was giving you a reward. Tempestus,
My lord?
your unit is equally non-functional as is the Eldars.
Oh, I don't know. Slap a fresh coat of paint on the tank. Be ready to go.
Tempestus do not normally operate in tank units.
This is true.
The remaining Tempestus are going to be separated from your particular position. I understand that you yourself has some affinity for these war machines.
They are extremely effective.
As a reward for you, I will be spearheading a new Cadian unit for you to command. You will be involved with retraining the Imperial Guard members on planet to specification. I assume that as a Tempestus, you are capable of doing this.
Of course.
I should note that tanks do not fall out of the sky on grav chutes, so it may involve a new level of tactical understanding as to your deployment on the battlefield. Acolyte. I don't have a reward prepared for you. My understanding is that Planetary Governor Colm Humes wishes to speak with you at your earliest convenience. I assume that he will provide you with something suitable. While the rest of your friends are off retraining themselves, you and I will be tending personally to rooting out the heretics that remain on planet. There are clearly far too many cultists from both chaos gods that were involved in this particular incident left on planet. Your fight was but one of dozens across the city and across the world. You will be in charge of rooting out Talron aspects. I expect your duties to begin immediately after your meeting with Colm Humes.
Yes, sir.
Is there any questions?
I do not have any at the moment.
Then
I
you
sort
are
of,
all...
like, tentatively put my hand up.
This is not the Progena. You do not need to raise your hand, Eldar.
Not a question, just if you didn't hear already that Ritter is dead. Probably killed by aspects.
That is unfortunate. Someone will need to take his position at that particular Ministorum Enclave. But it would appear that many enclaves will require new personnel. I am personally purging all of the progena that Talron Aspects has had access to. It is going to be a very long afternoon. You are dismissed. So you can see him like ordering servitors that are hidden in the steam pipes and darkness around his office to like come forth and help him change out of his clothes so that he can get into something more comfortable before he goes and murders a bunch of children.
As soon as we exited the office, a sandwich appears in hand. Well, could have been worse. No torture this time.
Yes. Well, I suppose that we'll be splitting ways temporarily.
Do you want some help with the governor?
You all may join me if you wish. First, I should probably clean up myself before I go see the governor.
Why?
So Lycus looks down at himself, all covered in blood. From just the multiple splatters of dead Terminators.
You look fine.
We don't want another mishap where the crowds panicked, essentially, when we went out there.
Useful idiots. Don't pay them any mind.
We should start paying mind. Now, if you excuse me.
Look down. Still clean. Well, whenever you're ready to go.
Okay. All right, I guess Lycus will go get clean, then you go head to the governor's.
Okay. You exit the Inquisitorial fortress and re-enter the governor's palatial estates here on planet. When you reach the top floor, guided by servitor elevator, where the servitor is like pressing the buttons for you, there's a major domo outside who adjusts his goggles. He seems to be almost dwarven in appearance with his stoutness, massive beard, and two giant magnifying glasses for glasses. It says, "Ah, you must be Mr. Lycus Santoro.
Yes.
And who are these people and things?"
They are members of my team.
Your team?
Yes.
I'm afraid that they aren't on the list.
Do they need to leave?
I will check with the planetary governor. Please wait here. So he turns and opens one massive door that's probably about 50 feet tall, but only 5 feet wide. Made out of what appears to be solid plated gold. Then returns several moments later and says, "Your friends are welcome inside. The planetary governor, Colm Humes, is delighted to see all of you." So he helps open the door again, which again has a massive amount of weight, given that it is 50 feet tall and made entirely out of dense metal.
Yep.
Inside, it is a beautiful receiving room. Lots of banners, eagles, the logo of this particular subsector. Behind a very dark redwood desk, with his boots up on the desk, is Colm Humes. Enormous bushy red beard, curly hair. Seems like a glint in his eyes that even though he looks young, he's probably a bit older. He says, "Welcome! Welcome! You're Lycus Santoro!" And he points to Antipho. "I've heard so much about you."
That's I am Lycus Santoro.
"That's unfortunate."
Wait, what?
"Allow me to explain why you're here. Come. So he like wraps a hand around your shoulder, Lycus, and is like guiding you towards a window that has been covered with, drapes.
Is the window open?
I mean, there's drapes, so you can't see whether it's open or
Okay.
Come look at this.
not. That would be a really that would be amazing. It's like he comes back to the
Window.
comes back into the room. It's like, Lycus took a fall real quick. By the way, I'm the chaos heretic that runs the whole planet. Coo. You're coming with him?
Sure, he's got his arm around my shoulders.
Yeah, he guides you through the drapes, and you are standing on a balcony overlooking the palace. There are thousands of people gathered, watching everything happen. They begin cheering when the planetary governor arrives, and he says, "People of Regnum Prime, I give you Lycus Santoro. Your hero, this brave individual whose service to me cannot be completed in an afternoon, has managed to hold off the foul taint of the enemy, the greatest enemy on our planet. Cheer his name, revere him, gaze upon him, and know him wherever he goes. He is to be given whatever he needs in service to the planetary governor, who is me, Lord Colmhumes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. And like he pulls his hand off of you and it's just like, let's go. Come back inside now.
Sure.
People are cheering, Lycus, Lycus.
Well, that'll make things a bit more difficult.
I don't believe so. My understanding is that you, Acolyte, Lycus Santoro, have been, well, you've been spilling the secrets of the Inquisition to literally anyone.
It's been a lot
Our
of
team does put
inconvenience
the
at the moment.
our team does put the overt in covert.
Yes. I don't know who you are, but yes. So, I decided that I would reward him with planetary notoriety? Fame. Fame, that's the one. Yes, fame. That way, whenever anyone asks, who are you, you can just say Lycus Santoro, because that's what you do anyway. And now they don't have to check your file, and I won't have 24 reports asking me what the Inquisition is. Because, gentlemen, and I want to be extremely clear here. Yes, as planetary governor underneath an Inquisitor, I have lost a huge amount of my personal power. On the other hand, he has taken enough responsibility off my plate that I am able to live a somewhat more...
Luxurious.
Luxurious is an excellent word for it. I would have said pious. There are traitors in my government. It is clear that this planet has some issues, but it cannot afford to be lost in the Emperor's name. We don't even know if there are other planets. It's been over 100 years since we've had contact, and, well, I was there, so... When the Inquisitor graciously offered to take my burdens from me. At first, I was hesitant, but the relationship has evolved to a very beneficial one. And I would hate for Acolyte Lycus Santoro to upset the balance on this planet with his heavy boots.
Thank you.
I am so glad to reward you for your excellent efforts on my behalf. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to speak with my chef.
Of course.
Yes, perhaps you happen to know a good assassin. Apparently there has been a sort of treasonous thief who has been taking sandwiches in various rooms around the palace without checking for authorization.
Antipho was about to take a bite of a sandwich and puts it down.
I may know of an assassin. I'll look into it.
Excellent. We need this individual tracked down and removed.
Of course.
Acolyte, may I address the governor?
Sure. I don't see why not.
Lord Governor, you may be aware that the Acolyte here is a protege to the Inquisitor, with a view that he one day assume that mantle himself.
That seems unlikely, but...
It is the situation that stands, and it could very well be in the future that you may have to work more closely with Lycus. Is there a way that we can begin to improve relations between our cell and your administration? I mean, we serve the Inquisition, obviously, but that's not always a full-time requirement. Surely there can be things that we can assist you with in order to...
Are you offering to freelance on behalf of the planetary government?
I'm offering to build a bridge between the Inquisition and the government.
What would you say your skill sets are?
Well, it sounds like you've already heard a lot about us, but
God, I hope he asks this question of the Space Marine. Please let him do it.
so other than the fact that we have been quite noted in our passing, we have completed every task that's been set before us.
So you'd say you're more of a generalist then?
Well, we're a group. We have different skills.
From the reports that I have, most of your skills seem to involve sudden and immediate violence.
Sometimes not sudden. Takes a few hours.
That
Are you
sounds
saying
like a
it's a
personal
skill-
problem.
Is that something that the planetary government would never have a need for?
Well, no, certainly I have a daily, almost hourly need for it, but I do have people that do that kind of thing for me. Is there some unique service that you can offer me, or am I simply employing you as I do my enforcers?
I wasn't talking about employment. I was simply talking about under the auspices of the Inquisition, we will have to go places and do things that I'd rather not put us at odds with your own administration. In fact,
I agree. That is why I have declared Lycus Santoro to be a hero of the Imperium, etc., etc. It's like being a member of the Inquisition, but you don't have to tell everyone that you're a member of the Inquisition. And no one's going to question why he doesn't have a day job anymore.
It is a very big question I get a lot of time.
Gonna lean over to Antipho. What is this day job he refers to?
I'd simply rather we find some mutual benefit rather
Not
than stay.
sure.
We
Our group
obviously take the direction to stay off your toes, but if there's some mutual benefit we can both benefit from, then that would be preferable, wouldn't it? Would it not, Lord Governor?
I will allow you to get the contact information of my aide outside. If you require a bridge, you may contact him, and he will determine whether your request is worth passing along.
I just nod and sort of step back into the line.
Is there any other pressing business, Lycus and Toro? Or can I return to my wine and music?
I do not have anything at the moment, but if I do, I will be sure to get in contact with your secretary. And if he so deems that he may get in contact with you.
Chief of Staff is probably the better word. I have several dozen secretaries.
Of course.
Reminder, send me the information about that assassin as soon as possible. I especially want someone capable of tracking the sandwich thief.
I will get on it as soon as possible.
And Santoro,
Yes.
I understand you've upset the noble family of Malwalk.
It's a high possibility. Was it one of the nobles that tend to wander around?
It's
The
the ones
halls.
with the little dog.
It would do you well to smooth over the situation. I would hate for you to disappear in the night.
I'll keep that in mind.
Well, excellent. And please do all that you can to eliminate heretics on this world, you know. Very big on heretic elimination.
I'm gonna lean over to Antipho. It would do them well not to insult the 10th Legion again. It'd be a shame if they were to disappear in the night.
Yes, it'll be a very busy few days or months, depending on how it goes.
Okay, you can get out of my office.
Please enjoy your luxurious lifestyle.
As you guys are leaving, you hear him call out, "Cheese plate!"
As soon as we get out of that door and it shuts, I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to turn to Lycus. Be like, do not trust that man. He's as slippery as an eel. And then I'm going to turn to Antipho. Give me the sandwiches.
Give him the sandwiches.
Antipho like starts pulling sandwiches out from just various pockets.
The chief of staff is standing.
I crush them in my fists. No more. This is unnecessary trouble and more than it's worth for a damned sandwich.
Chief of staff is literally standing right there as you crush sandwiches next to him and goes, "Well, that was unusual. Can I ask
I'm just
where
going to
you
give him a dead stare.
procured all of these sandwiches from and why you are crushing them instead of eating them?"
Does not concern you, mortal. Do not worry about it.
Chief of staff of the planetary governor.
Astartes business.
The sandwiches was from the military reserve that has been apparently been missing several of them as of late.
We've
Yes,
been
All
an
it would take
diet.
is simply signing out the conference room, and yet people have not been filling out there. It's a very simple form, easy to acquire.
I might like to think
Can I get
Antipho's allergic
about-
to paperwork.
Could I get about 30 copies of that?
It's a... it's just like, please wait here for a few minutes. I'll have a servitor go and make several.
Thank you.
We should just get a stamp of your signature made so you can just eat sandwiches with one hand and stamp them with the other.
So he's just like standing there awkwardly with all of you, just like, yes, the sandwich thief has been a very serious issue. It's weighed heavily on the planetary governor's mind as a serious crime within his own home.
It sounds like a serious misallocation of valuable
Sandwich-based
Evocatorial
resources. I agree. Absolutely.
I like that. Yeah, I too enjoy Saving Private Ryan.
Is there something else that you all need besides these forms?
No, I believe we have.
We were
Okay.
asked to exchange Vox details with you. Major Domo.
Very well.
That way, in case we need any sort of services or any requests that
He
may
was like hurriedly filling out the form.
need to go to the governor, you can see fit if it's worth his time or not.
We just need to keep Antipho alive long enough for me to become a tech marine and get a servitor. That way I can just tell the servitor to sign all the paperwork for his sandwiches.
Yeah, you get your 30 pieces of conference room sign-out sheets that authorize you to use and procure the contents of a conference room.
Planetary.
I fill them out and backdate them for.
Could you just like sign one sheet saying, date required until M43 or something?
Do you hand him these backdated?
Yeah.
Okay.
My apologies. I wasn't aware the forms needed to be filled out. Sorry. Very sorry.
So he shuffles them together and puts them on his desk and says, it's very interesting about imperial justice. Did you know that if a crime is committed by someone and they pass away before judgment has been placed, that a judge will then extend the penalty on to any surviving family?
The Imperium certainly has a lot of inefficient red tape.
Antipho just stares at him.
Yeah, I mean, you're a space marine in space marine armor and scout armor, and this guy's staring you down like, what the fuck did you just say about this government?
I like the way he's threatening someone he knows to be an orphan and their family.
I mean, the unit could certainly. Friends and family are all legitimate targets, but I think that the point is that even if you backdate these, it's still a crime.
The Inquisition commits no crimes.
Well, then it's unfortunate that he isn't a member of the Inquisition proper then.
This is Inquisitorial service.
I'm sure that a arbitrator judge will take into account all of these things. which is exactly what the chief of staff says. I will make sure that these are seen to as soon as possible so that your punishment can pass as quickly. I will also cancel the order for the assassin.
I'll put a shoulder on like a hand on Antipho's shoulder. Nice heavy hand. Don't worry, Antipho. Statistically, you'll be dead before they get around to your court date.
He just kind of like
just dead, like no emotion, deadpan, like
I feel so much better.
Okay.
You should. I would also rather die in combat than have to deal with these incompetent idiots.
I mean, this guy is just like,
It's just.
I'm sorry. Can you leave? Your excessive rudeness. Once I had great respect for your people, but didn't realize you were such enormous dicks. How does it fit in that armor? This is the office of the planetary governor.
We'll be leaving now.
Thank you.
Wait, this is planetary governors? I thought that was upstairs. I'm leaving.
And
I don't know what order you guys would like to do things in.
So once we're out of earshot, I'll just say it to the Acolyte. So, Acolyte, I hope I didn't speak out of turn there. It's just I've observed that with your short lives, humans that gain some measure of power tend to covet it greatly and want to hold on to it. And I simply think it would be best to be seen as an ally of the governor rather than someone who is causing him stress.
I perfectly understand. And now that we have the sandwich thing taken care of, it seems like his stress is now all gone.
That feels a very narrow view.
They'll likely be overthrown by one of his adversaries at some point soon, anyway. It seems to be the way of things. As I said, the bureaucracy is full of red tape and horribly inefficient.
But I do understand the need to be allies with the governor in order to be able to do things that we must do.
Right, so stop pissing off the important people. Got it.
And no stealing sandwiches.
I'm just going to hand Antipho a ration bar, like a Astartes issue ration bar. This will supply all of the necessary nutritional supplements for your caloric intake and function.
I want to remind you that Astartes have several organs that remove poison. So they don't necessarily have to check for such things in their ration bars. Contamination is not a concern for the average Space Marine.
I mean, it's a Astartes ration bar. I'm sure it's fine. Just take small bites.
It's full of steroids.
It's just like, my God, what was this made out of? Tyranid stomach?
No, it's not like
He
anything
physically
crazy.
starts melting.
It's just like for like an MRE's this many calories. This one's probably got like 20,000 calories per bar.
Fresh orc meat. That's the flavor.
I mean, they still have Astartes still have a sense of taste.
Sliver, like that's enough calories for an entire day.
But I think it's established in the law that, like Miod, the drink that Space Wolves drink is actually acidic to normal humans.
Oh yeah, well, but I mean, for example, Blood Angels drink wine. It's just wine laced with human blood, but it's still wine. So I mean, they eat normal food. It just probably has incredibly bland, and it's just like, very thick, very dense. You could probably use it for applique armor on an armored vehicle of some sort. You got to suck on it for a while. It's like old rations.
Pretty sure this ration bar has shoelaces sticking out of it.
Probably.
Those are Astarte onions.
Astartes. I would love to see an Astartes issue onion. It can actually be used as an improvised explosive in a time of need.
I heard they're pretty good when combined with Astartes garlic.
Hey, to be fair, the Blood Angels actually have serfs that are farmers to grow them fresh fruits and vegetables. So, I mean, Anyway. Yes, no more sandwiches. That is an unnecessary complication, and these humans seem rather easy to upset. I don't know why.
Sure, they're oddly attached to their sandwiches. He can obviously afford them. Ridiculous.
It's an
It is.
inconvenience that tends to hurt someone who is used to a life of luxury.
Yes. If that man were to attempt to join the legions, the chapters, he would certainly be turned into a servitor rather quickly, I'm sure.
Probably on the first day.
More than likely. I know he wouldn't last one day on Medusa, that's for sure. So what is our first task, Acolyte?
Well, we need to find our missing heretic, primarily.
I mean,
I mean,
all of you have various tasks, so get the fuck out and go train some new armies.
Yeah, I guess.
Eshairr
I don't know
gets
if
to
there's
go
a-
meet with Bio Daddy.
Yep. I also want to go. I want to go shopping for something too.
Very well.
Has the Magus Biologist arrived yet, or is it going to be
3
some time
days.
before he gets here?
I mean,
3
we
days?
can jump forward to that at any time.
Well, I'm saying if Eshairr wants to go buy something, I can,
Yeah,
because I got to wait for the same shuttle, and with the assassin stock, around, so I can say I could go with Eshairr until the time, till that guy gets here, because I got to take that shuttle anyway.
That would be wise. In the meantime, we'll be contacting my assassin to look for our missing heretic.
Oh, I thought you were going to contact your assassin to hunt down the sandwich thief.
I've already hunted him down. And I can't wait to hear that phone call.
Just need to get Antipho like a it's like a weekly like food thing, like college thing or whatever, just pay for it. You can just go get all the sandwiches he needs.
Cafeteria card.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
If there are anything that we need to get as far as supplies, weaponry, or whatever, we should probably try to get that now before we all split up.
It might be best to wait till we get back to do it, actually, right? Because things might change.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Personally, I'm going to look for apparel that will help win favor of others.
Oh, a nice suit
Yes,
with a bow tie.
perhaps.
Does this suit provide any ballistic protection?
Most undoubtedly not.
Then what is the point?
Is to get materials that can help us later, like more rockets for your launcher or better weaponry.
It's verbal armor.
Yes.
Like a chaplain. Ah, yes.
Not quite to that degree, but sure.
Well,
They have
if we went and
physical-
found your clothing first, we could test out its effectiveness on acquiring what I want to acquire.
Yeah.
James is like,
Out
let's do
of-
this in order, but I'll explain it in character.
Yeah, out of character, you get a benefit to influence tests for having nice clothing.
Do I get an intimidation bonus for being in Astartes Curious armor? That's kind of an influence bonus. It's just, in a different way. No.
Influence is influence. It's not
Man
always
can't be
positive
poisoned, and he
influence.
still wants more bonuses. Come on now.
I can do a lot of things other than not being poisoned.
Really the most important one, though, right?
I mean, I can spit acidic venom too. That's a thing.
But when is that ever going to be used outside of a party trick?
In Blood of Ix, a guy who was taken
Oh
prisoner by
my
orcs spits in his captor's face and
God.
melts it and kills him with it. So
Let's
yeah,
talk
a lot
about
of
this
stuff.
roll.
You asked, motherfucker.
So nice.
You're literally
clothes.
just looking for light, nice clothing. Is that what we're?
So getting uncommon clothing would be 4 successes required on influence test, and it gives you +1 dice to all cunning, persuasion, intimidation, and influence tests where the situation is appropriate. So obviously, some situations having nice clothing wouldn't really matter. Or you can go for rare clothing, which is going to require 7 successes, and that gives you +2 dice on those tests.
That'd be a good later thing.
Well, you currently look like the zero of the Imperium. The question is, do you want to look like the hero of the Imperium or like a nicely dressed guy of the Imperium?
Is the hero of the Imperium is the rare armor?
This is a
Or-
7.
Can you get the pattern just to be Inquisitorial eyes over the whole thing? Is that a thing you could do, or is that just like a liner? Or
He has pajamas that are just Inquisitor.
What did
Can you
getting
get I am like a Centaur bedazzled on your back of your coat?
but
what did getting the rank up, the getting to rank 2 do for us?
Any
Any
of your
affects
abilities that
abilities.
give you a plus rank bonus to,
Yeah.
or plus half rank bonus.
Okay.
so you just have to check.
It'll
and see
become
which
more
abilities
relevant
those
as
are.
you earn more abilities.
So I think it's
So for you,
per
it
class
means you add-
basis.
You add 2 dice now when you do interaction or influence tests when you invoke the name of your Inquisitor.
Well, that's all the time.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I'm like a
It's like a-
centaur, and I now need to look like the hero that I was.
I'm like a
I'm
centaur.
like a Centaur. This
You've
is
probably
my
heard of
favorite
me.
store on the Citadel.
I'm in need of fine clothing now, since apparently I have new notoriety.
You'll find I'm what they call a big deal.
So you'll have 6 dice requiring 4 successes if you do for uncommon clothing.
You do
Okay,
not
well.
get this bonus unless you invoke the Inquisition in the
Okay,
process.
that's fine. I'll just stick with the 4.
Okay.
That's
Wow. That's enough.
Yeah. Okay. This tailor basically is just like, no. What you are wearing now, this is garbage. I would not use this to wipe a table with.
It's effective
They're
battle.
elite.
Servitors! They just begin slicing your clothing off dangerously close to your skin. It's like razor blades around your crotch level. And then like their chests open up and like tape measures are coming out. What were you thinking? Gold with red, black with silver?
I have no idea.
I
I
was
hear black with silver, and you just.
I have no idea.
I hear purple is very popular this time of year.
Sound of bolt pistol cocking in the background.
Chainsaw revving up. I just oiled this thing yesterday. It should be working.
Must get hit the primer a couple times so it'll fucking fire right up.
So he's like, what if we go with a black base with pink and gold all throughout?
Whoa.
Sounds good.
So he makes you like a black uniform suit with a cape and a hat. There's lots of pink and gold trim everywhere. It looks horrifying. Honestly, it is terrible to behold.
Just like appraising him. Fashion is strange.
Oh, this would be very popular on planet. Everyone is saying that this is what you want. And I always give the nobles what they want, yes?
Luckily, I have superhuman eyes because they would burn out if I saw this with mortal eyes. But unfortunately, I see an even greater detail, and I'm horrified almost.
How closely were you concentrating on this man? He was standing there naked for several minutes.
As someone who, like, in his relaxation time wears nothing but like a robe, it's just like this doesn't faze him. It's like he doesn't get it.
Thank you for your services.
I am so happy to oblige. I have made 6 copies of it, so you have one for every day of the week.
Excellent.
I assume it will get covered with blood, as all clothing does.
I'll try my best not to.
No, go ahead. Come back anytime you want, as sooner rather than later, really.
Right. I'll keep that in mind. Les, if I may, I shall be going now.
It fits well, uncannily well. You've never had clothing this comfortable. It may look like someone vomited on you. But boy, does it feel good to wear.
Jackson Pollock is in season this.
Acolyte, you look like you drove a motorbike at full speed through a pack of squigs.
That is the most accurate description of what I'm wearing at the
I
moment
think
I've ever could have imagined.
as soon as you're out of the building, I think for the good of the Imperium at large, we need to call down an artillery strike upon that man in his building.
No, we can come back later and get better things.
I thought we were going to try and stop this sort of thing.
Tank.
What'd you say, James?
I thought we were going to try and stop insulting people.
Yes,
didn't
but
last.
I think in this case that will be an exception, certifiably justified.
We'll stop insulting people
Definitely
now.
a service to the
Now, do you have time, Acolyte, to help me find what I'm looking for? Since you
Of
have your
course.
clothes.
What
I'm
are
after
you
some
looking for?
Are you
Psychoactive,
looking for a new
I'm
suit?
after some psychoactive liquid crystal.
I'm just we need to requisition a flamer because we need to get rid of this fucking clothing because it's offensive.
Okay.
So I'm looking to get a psi focus made out of psychoactive liquid crystal, which is what they make Emperor's Tarot out of. It's not as rare as it sounds.
Yeah.
But it needs 5 successes. I don't mind if you don't get it. We just keep, because you've only got 1 wealth, so you can't lose wealth from making this roll. But it's more a case of just rolling it each game until we get it.
Okay. I will make that attempt. Do we also have the 2 Wrath to spin as well?
No,
Oh, okay.
we're not
You-
doing this as a full session.
Okay. Fair enough.
I have my wrath. Can I cash my wrath in for 1?
No, we're not doing
Why
this
not?
as a full session.
Okay, no worries. I didn't use my wrath last. I was saving my wrath for this shopping trip last session.
The next session, when you have full wrath, and we do a full session, that's
That's
5.
enough. That's enough. There you go.
Enough.
Thank you very much.
No, that's 4, right?
That's 4.
Is it 4?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
1,
just 2,
2,
yeah,
3,
you're
4.
right.
Yes. You
Let's
go
try
looking
again.
for psychoactive crystal, and you wind up outside of the factory, and the boss is just like, "Well, look, we've been making them there psychoactive crystal with whatever you make psychoactive crystal with, but I gotta tell you, the Emperor's Tarot got real popular nowadays. All the kids are getting the Emperor's Tarot deck. They're like flipping the cards at each other and shouting words on the cards, trying to do some sort of weird battling. Should all be thrown in the Progenitor. Trying to get good manufactured warrior workers out here, and all these kids running around trying to play games and be happy.
I'm sure the chapters could use more servitors.
What the hell are you?
Just look down at him. Shake my head.
Oh, look at
project
Mister.
is
I've
close.
seen the surface before.
When
Come
do you
down
think you'll
here,
have
look-
them ready?
Who knows? You know, you just come back when you can and make sure to have more money next time.
I'll check back in about a week.
Okay.
Fast forward a week.
Hit T. Wait.
Eshairr just kneels
Drag,
down.
slide way over to the right.
She does a Witcher pose.
Well, because the starters really don't need to sleep. Like it's just a thing. Of Kalrak just standing there, just subtly moving. Just the lights on and off. All right. Anything else we're gonna try and get before we do our time skip?
No, I'm good.
Not for me, no.
I got Bupkis.
I have my abomination to society of. Is that bonus really worth it? What you have to go through?
I think you just really just deploy it when you need it, right?
Essentially,
Like,
when we go on shopping trips.
yeah, stuff like that. Or you're going to go to a meeting or something. Because if you wear that on the field of battle, you're going to get fragged.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, it's a grenade. It fell.
And
Crazy. Them pins just fly out all by themselves.
Eshairr, several days later, you find yourself at a landing pad. From off the shuttle, it would not be fair to say that this creature walks. Imagine a octopus with a man torso on top of it. As a creature of tentacles with a mechadendrite sticking out over its shoulder begins slithering, undulating towards you, the familiar red cowl of a priest of Mars covering most of its non-tentacly body.
Made just by Lodges?
Yes, this one is called Felosa.
I am Eshairr.
Yes.
Should we go somewhere to talk?
Would that be efficient for you?
Efficiency, I guess, would be having the conversation right here, but it seems inappropriate.
Does
so
my
I just-
appearance concern you?
I have seen lots of things among your kind. I mean, humans, not the mechanicum. That
It begins lowering its body on its wave of disgust and says, I have seen much of your people as well. It is an exciting time.
maybe we should return to the Inquisitorial. Is it like a palace, or what do they call it?
It's a
here?
fortress.
The fortress, and have our conversation there.
So it straightens up as its tentacles begin moving it forward. Its arms are folded before it, and he says, I will follow you.
All right. I walked to the, but I look back a lot.
I mean, there are times when the tentacles get within a few inches of you constantly. You're very certain that this person's at least one set of eyeballs is definitely gazing upon you at all times. Who knows if this thing has more somewhere?
Probably.
As you are leaving the landing field, you pass Kalrak, who's waiting to get onto the shuttle, and the tech priest, the Magos, goes, "The flesh is weak."
I'll give him the cog mechanicus. There is no strength in flesh, only weakness.
You are incorrect, and you will be taught. But then
Jesus.
Oh,
Some biologist weirdo.
then he's past you. Like, he says it, he never looks at you in the process. He just kind of mocks you in passing.
I'll give Kalrak like a Roman salute as we pass.
Give you like the fist over the the soldiers thing.
Yep, Roman salute.
Yeah.
So in order to move about the Inquisitorial's hidden fortress monastery, he begins withdrawing his tentacles into his robe so he can lower himself down to a height that will be able to walk through doorways. And at one point, it's actually walking on legs before redeploying its weird tentacles.
It's one of those tech priests.
So ideally, I'd like a room that we can talk in with
Yeah.
a table to
Yeah.
put between us.
Yeah.
That's confined enough that it's more convenient to be in his smaller form.
I see. All of those things can happen. And you even have a form filled out for those, the conference room. You can even have the sandwiches.
Sure.
So as you enter, the tech priest is like removing sandwiches and bringing them back up under his robe. My apologies. My caloric intake has been famished since the transit. I have spent the last 3 days hibernating in anticipation of my arrival here to speak with you.
Very well. Well, I'm here at your pleasure, Lord
I am
Magus. What
here
is
at
it you wish to
your
discuss?
pleasure. Several specimens of your people are being offloaded from my shuttle.
Biological specimens?
Yes, I believe that they are mostly intact.
Alive or deceased?
I suppose I can return them to a functional state. Organically, they might be termed as alive.
Okay. But no degree of original consciousness then, I guess.
I'm sure that they'll be perfectly fine. Might take a few tries. I would be willing to do this for you. I understand that once they were a powerful unit of swordsmen.
So, are these things wraith constructs or are they flesh?
They are flesh. As if I would study a construct in my spare time. I believe they called themselves Storm Guardians. It was difficult to determine some of their screams. They do not speak either of the languages that I am familiar with, and, well, their volume was, at first, too much and then too little.
So, for your benefit, Lord Magos, Guardians are a civilian militia among my kind, unless they are of my craft world, where some Guardians do follow a warrior's path. Most Guardians are simply those who are not on the paths of war, who arm themselves when the craft world is threatened. Storm Guardians specifically are probably from my craft world then. So they would be warriors. If they are deceased, if their bodies are deceased and their souls have re-entered the Sea of Souls, then
I do
there's
not
probably not much-
believe that they are deceased.
All right. I'd very much like to see these Eldari that you have.
So you notice that he's been writing down everything that you've been saying.
Okay.
Interesting. So interesting. Well,
Did you
Can-
have questions for me?
of course. My understanding was that in release of these individuals, you would provide me with some more information about your people's culture. I've made the study of the Eldari a personal hobby in between attempting to perfect the Imperium's war machines.
Well, I'm still somewhat young by comparison to the rest of my kind, but I may know the answers to some of your questions.
What can you tell me about day-to-day life aboard your Wraithbone constructs?
The craft world or our vessels?
Ah, fascinating.
So, out of character, do you want some explanation, or are you happy to just...
No. Like, you
hand
guys are
over?
walking and talking as
There is.
you're heading towards...
Yeah, so,
Uh,
I mean, if his interest is cultural, which at the moment,
His
more than happy to answer
interest
any questions of-
is... He leads you to a warehouse where there are hundreds and hundreds of something representing a coffin. And every once in a while, one of his tentacles will like brush the front end of a coffin as he keeps walking. There are about 200 of your people in storage here, being kept in various states of awareness.
I'm just going to suggest that if there has been anything that these Eldari would consider to a tantamount to torture, I think it's highly likely that the bulk of them will not want to join with the forces that we've been contributing to the Inquisition. Some may.
Oh, I don't expect these people to be functional warriors for some time.
All right. Can
I would assume that at the
they,
very least your people would be happy to have their members back, even if they might only be able to scream for the rest of their life.
Yep, there are things that can be done even then.
Like what?
Well, giving them some release. If they some would choose to join the Infinity Circuit rather than remain within that state.
You can hear underneath the robes, scritch, 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 scritch the whole time. Infinity Circuit. Well, it seems our time here is at an end, but I hope to exchange Vox Deets. Is that what the young Progena are calling it nowadays?
I don't know, but I can give you communication details.
I would be delighted to have more conversations with you in the future.
Very well. I don't see a problem with that.
Let me ask, what is Eshairr's actual emotional state right now?
Confused, probably a little bit frightened. I guess that she was expecting something a lot more aggressive in his line of questioning. You know, things that trying to determine weaknesses of the Eldar, or
Tell me who your president is.
Yeah, or how to merge Eldar and human genetics, or that sort of thing, or how to use the Eldar for. I mean, she's probably actually a bit pleasantly surprised his interest is more cultural, because the Eldar are very proud of their culture and obviously don't mind sharing it, but confused still though because of his mannerism.
Yeah, so he begins, it would be safe to say, uncorking about 24 caskets. Like removing the top, and then the front end just opens up, and inside, in various levels of injury, are Eldari. Some of them appear, let's say, sapient, confused as they stumble out. Others simply, their eyes move, but their bodies do not.
Are they so they're in some form of stasis currently while they're
Yes.
inside the coffins, right? Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm going to stop him from opening many more until, as I say, rather than bringing them out here, they'll find themselves in a confusing and hostile environment. Maybe we should transfer them to Iotark's ship, where they can be brought out of stasis in a more familiar environment.
I do not disagree that that would be better for their psyche, but I could not allow this equipment to fall onto a Eldari ship without my own presence, and I would be hesitant to indulge myself in such pleasures.
Well,
I cannot allow my hobby to override my duty as a Magos.
if you wouldn't accept an invitation, then at least I would like to try and bring other Eldari here, so at least there are more friendly faces than just mine for them to
Very well. So, like, one of the guys is like, no, I don't want to go. And Eldar has the coffin. And then he puts the cap back on. He's just like, that one seems very animated compared to the others. Make all the calls you want. I have nothing but time for you.
All right. So I will try and maybe get 10 other, even if it's just perfunctories from the Eternal Dance, just other Eldar there to.
Yeah. So the Eternal Dancer is still 3 days out. So it would be days before they are.
Yeah, and I'll need to speak to the Inquisitor about. I mean, if an Eldar ship turns up, in orbit of the planet, that might cause problems as well.
Well,
so.
it's returning with the rest of the battle group.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah. If we want to cut to at that time, the Magos will easily allow these people to leave, but then he's like, "You had said that you might extend an invitation to board your vessel. I would surely love to swim among your culture several hours if I might question those aboard. Or perhaps even just silently observe with my eyes and fingers."
As I said, the invitation is the Autarch's to give, but I will speak on your behalf.
Okay. So he waits patiently at whatever passes for an Eldar landing bay as a bunch of Eldar are just leading these confused, injured citizens back up the boarding ramp. Your, I want to say, good friend, that might be a reasonable thing to call, Tanya, your autarch, is waiting with a impassive mask for her face as she watches the proceedings.
Right. I'll go bow to her. Autarch, have your wounds recovered from the battle?
It will be some time before I am back at full capacity.
I'm glad. It was quite dangerous there for a while among the forces of the archenemy.
I have not had the displeasure of encountering Terminator armor at such personal range before.
And they were never born on the field as well, which is always a concern.
Indeed.
This human Magos, I guess scientist, best way to describe him. He has brought these people back. I'm not sure what has happened to them in the time he's had. I'm sure they'll need some time to recover. But he's actually been, pleasant's not the right word, inoffensive so far. He's actually he's displays a genuine interest in our culture. I would ask that we allow him a day or so aboard the Eternal Dancer, simply to observe. He has not tried anything untoward since I have encountered him, although it does sound like a lot of these other Eldari have been through horrible situations. I'd certainly, if we did extend this invitation, I'd keep him away from those that we've recovered. But he has brought several hundred back into our fold at a time when there were fewer of us than ever. I would feel it necessary to extend some courtesy.
Where did these Eldar come from? Did he capture them himself? How long have they remained here?
Well, they've been in stasis, so I don't know how long. It may have been some time, it may have been a short time, but for them, it will only been limited time.
I believe that allowing this creature, this Monkey monstrosity, access to our people would be a mistake.
It's obviously your ship, Autarch. I can't direct you otherwise. I simply...
How far have you fallen that you would speak for such a thing? Look at it. It practically screams of being of the enemy.
Yet, I don't sense the presence of the great enemy about it. It is a construct, no doubt, with a human mind still. So it is still, as you say, Monkey. But as I said, there is an interest there, a genuine interest. I fear that if we don't answer its questions now, it will seek answers to those questions through means in the future that may not bode well for our people.
I will consult with the Farseer, but I intend to give him my recommendation. However,
Of course.
as one knows, Farseers will do what they will. I doubt this instance will work in the best interest of our people. Instead of allowing this thing a day to walk aboard our ship, I believe that you should take a day to walk among us. It is clear to me that even as a ranger, you have spent too long exiled from our people, and there are rituals to perform in the aftermath of the blood that has been shed.
Indeed, the war mask hasn't come off easily the last couple of times. I would like that if I would be welcome.
Dismiss this thing from our presence and then join us aboard.
Very well. I'll return to the Magos. I've conversed with my autarch. She requires further authority regarding your request.
I understand.
I've made my... I have spoken on your behalf to request approval.
I
may
appreciate
take
that.
some days to hear back from the Farseers. I guess we'll remain until we know.
I'm beginning to pick up on some of your language by observing your communications.
Is that a question coming from that, or
No.
It's just...
It is an observation. I just wanted you to know how well I've been paying attention. I'm a very big fan of your people's unique elegance.
Have you determined the origin of my name then, out of interest?
I am afraid that my knowledge of your Eldari language is somewhat subject to but a few words.
Well, I'd make a request of you that if you do walk among my people and you need to refer to me, do not use the word I gave you to call me.
I see.
Simply refer to me as the Ranger.
Very well.
It won't be received well if you use that term.
Please vox me at your earliest convenience with news about whether or not I am allowed aboard.
Very well.
I will find a suitable location from which to cogitate on today's events.
Thank you, Magos Filosa.
The torso remains facing towards you, but the tentacle legs begin moving it away from you. And I feel like that's a good place to stop unless anyone has anything else they wanted to do.
Because everything will take quite a while.
All right, everyone take, let's say 3 build points as experience. And great news. There's going to be like a 6-month time skip. And next episode, there'll be a new army list. So it's going to have tanks. We're still figuring out Pondo's. Currently, Pondo's army only has 2 units. I don't know whether he wants it or not. He seems pretty blasé.
Pretty much more wounds than pretty much any other unit, though.
Well, yeah, it also has active. I mean, they're not void shields, but it has active shielding to some extent too. So
We'll talk. We'll talk.
From what I know about knights is that they seem to be terrifying. Are pretty much the mechs of the universe. So
yeah, in that fairly small, but yeah.
I don't know what knight I'm getting, but
No, he starts. It's Culverin. What? Helverin? Culverin?
Elvern.
Helverin.
Culverin. Yeah.
The shooty one.
Yeah.
It's like a mini knight.
Does it have a blast cannon or the
No, it's got twin auto cannons.
okay the big heavy ones?
No, they're only half the size of a full-size Night Helverins. They're a small.
Oh,
they're a bit bigger than a Dreadnought.
yeah, no. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Those, the AdMech ones, not the big.
Yep.
They're not proper knights.
Yep.
Okay, I got you.
They are still Imperial Knights.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. They're not the big like cannon and reflector shield thing, whatever ones.
There you go, Pondo. There's one right there.
Yeah, those, the skinnier ones, chicken walkers, as people
Okay.
call them.
So with a regular guy for height comparison. There you go.
Yeah, they're still pretty big.
Oh yeah.
They gonna fuck shit up.
I thought it went well.
Pretty
I
good.
think it went well too. I think we. So I'll let you know, by the way, that I was really thinking about that whether you could take those Terminators out, and I sent those numbers. I worked out like the average number of wounds based upon
18 on that one.
dice rolls.
Yeah.
And I actually, because there's a dice app you can get which simulates doing large numbers of attacks in 40k.
Mhm.
And I think I did 6 attempts with us trying to kill the Terminators and managed to take them out in one turn in 2 of the attempts and failed in 4 of the attempts.
Folks
we
at home,
mentioned
that's
it.
called Monte Carlo simulation.
Is it?
Yeah.
I
The
haven't heard that
engineering
term
thing.
before.
It's where you do, a simulation over and over again and
Yeah.
take the average of the results. Well, you
Yeah.
take the percentage of the results.
I do.
I'm gonna have someone in the comment section tell me that whatever I just said was not true.
I do. For my Warcraft stuff, I'll do like character simulation, but it's like I would like to do 250,000 iterations, and then you let it run for an hour, and you get like this is based on all the buffs and blah 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 whatever. And if you do like this is your action list, and then it's like this is how much damage you should be doing on average. Yeah.
So that's what I do with
stuff.
when I play test RPGs normally is I actually will take the system and I'll create a program to simulate thousands and thousands of tests or combats, that sort of stuff, and then do
Yeah.
like a
That's called Monte
draw like
Carlo.
The
Yeah, so-
average, you said the average is 15.78 wounds, and we needed 18.
that was from shooting alone that before the melee.
Okay. Yeah. They also just got some really bad saves too.
I mean, in reality, we were still one short. It just ran away in the morale phase. So
Yeah. I mean, if it's off the board, it's off the board, right? So
You know who's totally off the board? Pondo. And let's start our outros with him.
Hi, I'm Pondo or Pondo the Mad. You can catch me on YouTube or Twitch /Pondo the Mad. Or you can catch me here on Thursday nights playing Battletech, or you can catch me on whenever AP goes on vacation on Pokemon. Honestly, I thought this fight was going to be shorter, but it kind of got like.
I thought this
extended
fight was
out.
going to be longer. What was
Really?
your reasoning?
I just thought that we'd be able to just chew through the Terminators much faster, but
I thought more Terminators would survive. So I guess that's why we came to opposite conclusions.
I was also expecting me to immediately lose my priest, but apparently he made it to the very end.
You know, I did make a good effort to kill him though.
he needs a name now, though. He's got to be named.
He's gone though.
He's got to be the new priest for the chapel.
Yeah, that's the one. You know what they say, you survive a horrible mass execution / battlefield / cultist purge, you get a promotion.
oh, yeah, if
2
he's
or
the
3
only
more of
surviving
those, you end
priest.
up running the Imperium.
It's like a free yogurt card, but for chaos incursions.
You got anything else, Pondo?
No.
Okay. Bid Alpha, you are a person who I suspect has a free yogurt card.
No, actually, I don't. I'm not a fan of yogurt. Actually,
Not even frozen yogurt?
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. There aren't any frozen yogurt places around here.
All right. I'll let it pass.
I'm in a very small town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had fun. I'm surprised that we managed to do as well as we did during the battle. I thought we were going to lose quite a bit more. I thought for sure that Fondo was going to have to be rolling up a new character. So that'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I'll be continuing on for more YouTube videos this weekend. I've got the weekly line of sight video coming out over at Exclusively Games YouTube channel on Mondays, and I'll be back here on Thursday with Pondo and AP for more BattleTech. And
that's the season finale next week.
It is indeed. And for some reason, somehow, Maxwell Harridan is still alive. I don't get it.
No, I'll fucking get him. I'll get him.
I really don't get
I'll
it.
trip his ass, and then I'll do a kick to the head for like 45 points of damage. No big deal. Just gonna be 3 different Shadowhawks kicking him in the head at the same time.
Just raffle stomping him into the dirt until there's absolutely nothing left. So yeah, that I'll be looking forward to being horribly murdered on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Atomic?
Yeah, I'm Atomic Spoon on Twitch and Twitter. That turned out pretty well. I thought the Terminators would survive at least our first full assaid, but they got some. I mean, just like one of them would save, and then like the other one would just completely fail. You know. But you know, the dice give it, the dice take it. So. Yeah, I'll be streaming Warcraft again on Tuesday and Thursday. I'll probably be streaming Monday, honestly. I say that it'll probably just be staring at a server queue screen for a while. So I probably actually won't stream Monday, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And then I'm here Wednesday for New Game Plus. I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna be here Wednesday for that. And then I'm here again on Saturday, and that's pretty much it. Other than when I randomly decide to stream things.
New Game Plus is the start of the 2nd season next week.
It's our 1 year on Wednesday. Yeah, so that'll be something.
Weird.
I'll do a shot beforehand in celebration.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it regardless.
You're just gonna. Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm gonna drink whiskey regardless. That's what's
I
gonna
was
happen.
gonna say you're just gonna talk about it afterwards. You're gonna do an intro that's all about whiskey tasting.
Yeah. So yeah, that's me.
You know, speaking of someone who might be a whiskey drinker, let's talk to James.
I don't actually drink anything at all. I don't drink alcohol. There you go. So, I'm James. I host the Grimdark podcast. I'll be recording a new podcast next couple of weeks before I go to the US. So yeah, I had a really good time tonight. Unlike Sid Alpha, I like NPCs and I care about NPCs. And when I had an NPC with a name that I built character backstory with that was like standing a few feet away from a Terminator Lord that we just could not seem to kill, I was genuinely concerned for that NPC. So I think it's good that we've got that level of investment in the game already. And I'm also excited now for The Mandalorian. Has everyone watched the trailer for The Mandalorian?
I have.
Are you
not
coming to the States for Nova, James? Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm working in San Francisco in a couple of weeks' time, just for 3 days.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was 40K related or not.
Yeah, no. I considered extending the trip to stay a bit longer, but wasn't good timing with my wife's work, so just there for 3 days and flying back again.
Dude, no, that sucks. You're there for 3 days and you're gonna spend 2 days traveling there and back. Fuck that. Better you than me, but still, it's damn. What, a 20-hour flight?
No, it's only 13 hours to the West Coast.
Really?
It's usually
Okay.
it's long to get to the East Coast. If I've got to go to New York where I used to go
Well,
all the time, I
yeah.
had to, it would be about 20 hours between the 3 flights, but
No.
it's only like 13 hours to San Francisco.
You flying Qantas?
Okay, it's not good.
Yes, I'm flying Qantas.
Yeah.
Although I have since I changed jobs, I've dropped down from platinum to gold. So I'm really And it wasn't even like the special lounge access or their stuff. It was the fact that whenever I sat down on a plane, someone would come over to me and say, welcome back. Can we get you anything at all? Thanks for flying with us again. Now they just, acknowledge me at the door, but they don't actually come and say something to me at my chair. And they do, and I see them talking to other people, and I'm like, I used to be that person.
Yeah.
How have I fallen so far that you don't care about me anymore?
I want to be super clear, by the way, that this Biomagos 100% is flesh crafting a Eshairr action figure, and it's probably going to make one of each of the party members to add to his D&D collection.
Fucking weirdo.
Because they're living, right? They move around. They're like flesh servitors.
Yeah, he's just got like he's got like flesh tentacle. He's just the fucking biologists are weird, man. Even by Mechanicus standards.
I'm certain he's been sucking up, hair follicles and skin follicles that are in the air from.
I rest my case.
Warhammer 40K. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Got anything else, James?
No, that's it for me. Looking forward to next week.
Okay, well, I guess we'll be back then. Have a good night, y'all. Thanks for joining us. Fire noises. Swish.